Well, this ain't no beauty channel. Well, you can see that I've really put a big emphasis on presentation here. Like, I've really spent a whole heap of money to create a nice big design. Maybe I should have done that fairy light thing like that, put on bed heads or something like that to spruce it up. But simple fact is, I don't exactly have any money to do that sort of thing, and I have to work with what I have, make videos. Now, you probably should start to see that there is nothing wrong with that. If you've seen the big promo that Samsung has been pushing to get their phone market back with using YouTubers and to make videos from their phones, it can be possible and can be done. Though there is some elements that you kind of have to pay for. Even though creativity is something that you can get for free, there are other elements like tripods, microphones, and other little bits and pieces that you might need to consider as well. So naturally you do need a mobile phone to actually start recording with. No beating around the bush about that. But sometimes I find just having a second mobile phone can be very handy. Now this is something that I've hanged on to from my last contract with my mobile phone provider. You might not be able to do this, of course, if you have to turn in your old mobile phone for your new phone contract to happen. But just having that second phone does help with doing some extra shots and creating something for your videos, like I did with the intro to my video. This is all recorded on this as I was going around and setting this thing up here on the ironing board table. And the good thing is you don't need a SIM card to video. So just having an old phone that's still in good use, don't have a SIM card, don't have to worry about apps unless you've got a time-lapse app or a video app that you like to use, and it won't take up so much battery power and absorb your power from your phone, and you won't have to consistently charge it all the time. Now, I'm probably going to be sounding a little bit differently here, and you might be hearing a lot more background noise. There is a bit of a breeze blowing outside at the moment. But I want to talk about having one of these, a microphone. This is pretty common one, the Rode Video Mic Me. Now, out of everything I actually had to buy, this is the most expensive. It cost me $65, and that was the cheapest I found. And I actually found it through one of the recommended suppliers on the Rode microphone website. So it actually is worth actually having a good little bit of a shop around and seeing if you can actually get a cheaper price on it. Now also, it does come with this windsock. I think Rode calls it a cat's claw. Now you probably find it is rather thick and hairy, and the thing you've got to be cautious with when you're wanting to use this sort of windsock is the distance between where you plug this in to where your lens is on your phone. And you might actually find that having this in will probably cover up the lens on your phone, as I'll demonstrate with my phone. Now you get the idea of what I mean by distance between the lens and the jack port to plug your mic in. You can see it's mighty hairy. Some people might not have a problem with using this particular windsock because it's not interfering with their lens. Some people will, like me. And you will be needing some sort of windsock when you're outdoors, because any slight breeze will be picked up, and if the breeze is just a little bit too heavy, it'll be equivalent of putting your head underneath a waterfall. So this is what I found out with these particular windsocks, is the internals is not glued. You can break them open, and this is what's inside. Now you can probably find it won't be as like durable in the wind, heavy breeze like with a Catskill style windsock, but it's better than nothing when you're outdoors. Now the other thing is, it is a very, very loose fit because it's relying on the clip to hold it in place, so it will fall off no problem. So what I've done is got some electrical tape and just round it on the end there where it usually clips on, about five times the layer, and you'll find that it will fit on there and it will not fall off. Even if you give it some force, it doesn't fall off at all. Now, the one thing you probably find, especially if you still use your phone for make phone calls and have your apps on it for social media and other sort of apps you might want to have on your phone, is it will take up quite a lot of space memory wise. So getting yourself a memory card is very, very handy, and you'll be able to set up your phone that all your video work can get all stored on the memory card. Now in saying that, it can be expensive depending on the size of the memory card you want to get. Like I think this one's just a 32 gigabyte. There's quite a decent amount of space. But these days there's so many like generic or no frill brands out there, and you also find these memory cards can be quite durable unless you run over them or put them through the wash, of course. And also these days you're going to really get your money's worth out of it, because these days it comes with an adapter that you'll be able to use on the video cameras when the time comes when you're able to afford or make the transition over to the video cameras. Now, just as much as the memory card, I also find having a power bank pretty important. The reason is, with your phone, especially if it's your primary phone, with having a SIM card and quite a lot of background applications like dealing with social media, it's always constantly running. So it'll use up your battery power quite reasonably pace, especially if you're also videoing on top of that. So I find having the power bank very important. Also, it depends on where you actually are filming too, where you might not be able to find a place where you'll be able to charge your phone. Except if you're using your car, you can use your car charger, which is a slow way of charging your phone. Now, this next part is something you probably just need to sit down and research for, and that's for the phone cradle. This one is reasonably cheap, but it works on my phone. It is marketed for the iPhone and smartphones, and even though it might look cheap and nasty, it makes it clear of all my buttons I have on the side of my phone, like that. Now, this is the sort of thing that might not be suitable for your phone, so you might find something just as effective at a cost you can afford. Now the other thing is, you probably see that I have a matchstick stuck to the bottom of my cradle. That is the reason for that, is because it needs to have some foam across the bottom there, and with my phone it was actually making my phone slide out as the pressure pushes down on the phone. So what I had to do was peel off all the foam that was stuck down there, and actually get a large size matchstick and super glue it in place, so it has a little lock-in mechanism on the cradle for my phones. Now you probably think it might be a little bit on the nasty side, but it's a lot more cheaper way of doing things than having to buy a lot more expensive cradle for your phone. Well, my description says I go outside and see what's there, so however, go outside and see what's there. And also, I want to get a cup of coffee. And the next thing on the list is one of these tripods. It's not a very big tripod, and it is made out of some cheap alloy, so if you use it as a cricket bat you're bound to wreck it. And it's not very tall, like probably comes up to about here, ground level, so it's not very tall at all, but it's better than nothing. Next up is a bendy tripod, which is pretty common. Same thing these days with YouTubers to use, since you can do that. This is just a small one. I got it off of eBay. It comes with this type of clip. It regardless of the size of the thing or of the thing, it does its job, and that's pretty much what it counts when you want to make videos. Next up is, this is what I used for when I was doing the driving side of things. It's just a basic suction cap. I've got some tape around it just to hold it in place a bit so it doesn't vibrate so much, and so it doesn't affect the buttons. Of course, I glued some matchsticks in place to keep it clear of all the buttons and whatnot. I haven't got an opportunity to put this to good use, but a good old handy egg timer for that moving shot. Hopefully I'll get it to good use, but this is something that was pretty cheap to get. It is an egg timer, it's not electrical or anything like that, it's all spring loaded. When it gets close to the timer, then it does do a little bell, but very handy to have. And I got it when I had with one of these bendy tripods as well. Next thing I got, you would find this very strange, very odd thing to actually say this is something that's probably essential to get, but since you're using your camera, not your videos, to make videos, you probably find this will be coming very handy, because if you drop your camera, of course you can't use it when you're filming, it won't fit in the clip very well, but when you're not using it, in a clip or use it for videos, it's good to actually keep your phone in one of these things. There's one, you lose it, or it falls off, or it breaks, it's cracked the screen or something like that, or breaks, it can't work, you won't be able to make any videos. Simple as that. So you will have a big delay while you try and figure out what you're going to do, and if you're going to replace the phone or get the phone repaired, or even doing insurance claims. It's going to take some time to actually make it happen. So having one of these to protect your phone, I find very, very essential to have. Now, I know this is probably a little bit out of the norm and whatnot to what you usually see. You usually see people saying going to Amazon with their affiliation and saying buying this, buy that, or all that sort of thing. But I'll probably end up doing the same thing if I'll get a high profile on YouTube. But for someone who's starting out, when I made this video, I only got 28 subscribers. So forking out that sort, it just shows that you don't need to fork out that sort of money to get started. All in all, it probably cost me like $100 to $150, probably pushing in $200. But compared to all the stuff that people recommend to get off of Amazon Prime, it probably could be a lot more cheaper. And another little tip, this is what I do to also help with paying for all this stuff, is if you go to Christmas or birthdays or even Mother's Day or Father's Day, maybe just say, instead of give me this sort of present, maybe ask for cash, or actually ask them to buy this sort of thing instead. So there's many alternatives to get started. You don't have to fork out a whole heap of money to get started. So unless you want to start a gaming channel, which you would need to fork out that sort of money to buy PCs and whatnot, this is probably a good alternative to actually do things with. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this will be all helpful for you, and have a good one. Finish my coffee. Say cheese.